Okay, so I just wanted to kind of share where I am with this turtle library I've been working on. I wrote a Python launcher just because I like some different backgrounds and stuff. Uh, but I'm in the mood for this one tonight, so we'll start this way. All right, and for some reason it's changed my maroon to pink. I need to look into that. Oh well, we'll go pink's fine for now. So we'll start by loading my library. Normally uh, load the compiled version, but for right now I just happen to stop here. That's fine, so we'll load that. So what this is this is a library that kind of mirrors the drawing aspect that Seymour Papert kind of worked with kids, where drawing in relation to a turtle robot. So turn right, turn left, go forward, go backward, pen up, pen down, traditional stuff. So I've provided this as a library, and what you can do is go into File Browser. Let's actually look at this thing. Probably could open it right there, but let's go to, we can actually see this. Scrollable and pretty, that's good. And you can kind of see it's getting to be a reasonably complete little library. I've tried to keep it reasonably modular, and but anyway, well, let's shrinky dink that, stick that over there. Okay, so let's start by just kind of showing off a small demo that I wrote, and that is turt test, and this just draws a nice little random tree. And just to show you it is random, let's do this a few times. FR, fast R, repeat, quote. We'll do 3 of them, and we'll do turt test. So the way I've written these, none of them are stomping on each other. They can all run independently, and they're not polluting, the top level stuff. So you can see all the trees are a little bit different. But these are just using my library by itself. In fact, let's look at the function here. And you can see basically it creates some temporary turtles. Basically it's not storing them anywhere but in the window there, and it goes through and it does all the drawing routines. It sets the home value, it draws the sun here, then it jumps and starts doing the horizon, kind of your lines to show the horizon depth, and then it finishes with the turt tree command, which is a little bit more involved. In fact, let's see documentation. It takes quite a few little things there. So I'm not going to go into that. So I'll go ahead and close this. But the one I want to focus on today is basically an interactive demo that I've made, and it creates a window in one of these drawing turtles, and then it exports, it returns them both. So you kind of need to capture and rebind them to use them. So we'll do a let, and we'll call this temp, just as a temporary value. That's going to receive the output of my turt play command, which is a playground kind of for the turtle. Let's do this, and then so we're gonna leak some things into the top level, which I try not to do too much, but you can easily delete symbol definitions once you do, so it's not a big deal. So we're gonna set Q. Let's name it Tim. Tim's a good turtle name, and that's the car of temp, right? And then we're gonna need to capture the window. The window comes back as the cutter of the value, so we're gonna set that. We'll just name it win, and that becomes cutter of temp. And we'll go ahead and use our fancy square bracket to clear this thing, or to close all the parentheses. And you can see that we've now got a representation of our turtle. Maybe with a little time I'll do a bitmap with the actual little legs and feet and head, back like when I was a kid. It's a little more interesting than your scientifical version that's just a triangle here. So anyway, let's go ahead and inspect Tim. Nice thing about Lisp is we have these wonderful inspectors. A lot of good implementations have inspect, so it's a good thing to know about. And we'll inspect Tim. Now Tim's just a list behind the scenes, so the inspector is going to ask us to impose some structure on this thing. So we're going to say as a record, and then we need to find the turtle record, right? And internally, this has all of the accessors that know how to work with these attributes and set these attributes. User data is kind of like a backpack of junk that the turtle can carry around. This is up to the user to populate with whatever they like. It has an update function that's called during things that would normally need refreshing the screen, like turning right or turning left, that sort of thing, back, forward, things that would cause a screen refresh, ideally. Okay, home X and home Y, that's the home position. If you were to tell the turtle home, it's going to jump to home X and home Y. Radians flag enables Radians mode, which is kind of a nice thing if you've got a more mathematical approach. Well, I don't know that it's more mathematical than degrees necessarily, but I guess the more formal mathematical approach tends to use radians. But a lot of people, including myself, tend to like degrees. So there's also gradients, and there's 400 of those in a full circle, but no gradients support. Anyway, we have a draw function that basically gets called during your forward, backward, the things that would cause a line to appear. And the thing that determines whether or not that draw function gets called is whether or not the pen is down. The old analogy is that the pen is attached to the turtle's tail. When the pen is down, it's going to draw. When the pen is up, it's not going to draw. So that's handled. That's handled there, and that sets the draw function. Pen dash is something used generally, dashed lines and stuff when you're drawing. So I put a spot in there for that. And then direction, of course, like I mentioned, it defaults to degrees, which is the natural thing for logo. So that's what I default to here, and your standard X and Y. Alrighty, so we've inspected Tim, and I've yammered on long enough, so let's go with a traditional square, right? That's the first thing that everybody does. So we can fast repeat, quote, and then our number. Of course, we're going to do this thing 4 times. And there's 2 commands that are going to get called in quick succession, and that is, let's see, you want to go forward, Tim, and we'll do 100 units, and then we'll go right, Tim, and that's 90 degrees, right? And we'll see, well, what do you know? It does the square. How exciting. And the thing about this is you do have to refresh the screen because it's interactive once per step. And I may write a macro that makes it not do that, but that's kind of where I am right now. This library is in flight. So how this works is a turtle renders to a bitmap, and then it renders the turtle part to the screen. So the bitmap is always separate from the screen. And that's so the turtle doesn't really pollute what it's drawing on, which is kind of a handy thing. Of course, you can use the inspector. There's a lot of cool stuff here. I think if you middle click, you can do refetch, and you can get the latest on Tim. So this is a cool way to set the turtle's stuff. You can run the inspector, and you can manually set this stuff. So to demonstrate that, I'd like to set the pen size to something different. So I can middle click that, and then I can set. And let's make it a little chubbier here with a 2 pixel line. And so let's go here and let's draw a curve then. All right, we've got lines, and because we've got lines, we've got, curve approximations. So we'll fast repeat, quote, 30 would be a good amount of these. Okay, and we're going to go forward, Tim, 10, and we're going to go right, Tim. Actually, let's go left. Yeah, left is going to put us the other side, Tim, and 10 degrees, right? And this should draw a nice fat curve. You can see, yeah, it's 2 lines here, and so that's kind of an interesting thing. There's also pen dash. I don't know if I set this properly. Let's try setting the pen dash, and this is a list here. 111. I think that'll get us dashed lines. Pretty sure. Alright, so now let's go back. Let's refetch this by middle clicking here and updating the data just so we have everything there. Alright, we'll go forward, Tim. Yeah, what do you know? We're drawing dashed lines now. And then you can do, 90, and then, I don't know, 10. And then we can come back here and set pen dash back to, no, I think that's correct. Let's try this. And unfortunately, you can see it's kind of polluted the drawing of Tim. I need to make that so it's always solid. So we'll go forward one more time. Tim. Yeah, now we're back to normal. Okay, so you kind of get an idea of how this works. I should probably inspect the window as well. Okay. Very greedy exec window there. Let's move this over here. And you can kind of see I've put user data in here. The turtle is, and when you put user data in, it always wants to make them lists. But we have, the turd is the guy we've named Tim. Bitmap is the backing bitmap that's, behind the window and behind the turtle. And then the bitmap stream is actually the stream that writes to that bitmap. So you have access to those things here if you wanted as well. I'm going to close this inspector. There's one final command too. There's CS, which is not computer science, but clear screen. And that takes a window. Luckily, we've captured the window. So we run that, and that actually clears the backing bitmap. Not the screen, but the bitmap that's behind it. Well, it clears the screen too. But the important thing is it clears that bitmap. So anyway, I think that's an overview of basically what I have so far. Some of this stuff will change. But I guess that's it for this evening. So maybe give it a try and keep programming.